Welcome to the Intercooler podcast, everybody. This is episode 272 with Dan Prosser and Andrew Frankel. And this week, we're playing the game that we like to play sometimes.
Yes.
Right, where I go off to the classifieds, find 10 cars around a theme.
Don't tell me about any of them.
Don't tell you what they are, and we just discuss those cars.
Yeah.
Now, what I want to do is discuss the specific cars that I found, but B, the cars in general, because I might have dug out a total dog, just because it's cheap and looks tempting.
Yes.
But we shouldn't let that put us off the car as a whole. So we'll discuss both aspects, right?
Fine.
And this time I've chosen early 2000s cars, spanning a couple of grand to 120 grand.
Okay.
Just because there is a bit of a sort of groundswell of opinion, I think, that those early 2005.
Are we about to have a peak car conversation?
Yeah. It did come up on one of the stories on the Intercooler app and website. In the comments, someone was suggesting that sort of era was peak.
Did you just mention the Intercooler app and website?
No, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that.
We have one, apparently.
Do we? We should mention it. But I mean, I think it's quite a good shout, isn't it? Before all the nannying ADAS systems and everything else came in.
I think it certainly exists somewhere between 1990 and 2010.
Yeah. So this is all a slap bang in the middle of that, isn't it?
Yeah. So around the turn of the century.
Yeah.
It's pretty much there, isn't it? I might, probably just because I'm that much older, I might go something mid-late 90s.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, again, as is always the case with these things, there are no wrong answers.
So yeah, I've chosen 10 cars from that era, and that is the only thing that links them. They are totally, a wide range of cars, very wide value. So we'll discuss them. But before we do, the Intercooler app and website. This is my weekly reminder that as a podcast listener, you can get a 20% discount on your subscription to the Intercooler app and website for the first year. There'll be a link in the description, or just head to the-intercooler.com and use coupon code POD20 at checkout to get your 20% discount. And better still, right? We have a new partner, a new car care partner. Hold on. Here we go. Here it is. They're called Supernatural. If you're watching on YouTube, you'll be able to see me holding up a bottle of Supernatural shampoo, that one. And every month to a TI subscriber, we're giving away a kit worth 125 quid.
Yes.
And we alternate between new subscribers and existing subscribers. But every month, a TI subscriber will receive a Supernatural car care kit worth 125 quid. So maybe that's all the reason you need to go and sign up if you haven't already.
And they call it the 911 GT3 RS of car care kits.
They do.
But have they said which generation?
I think they're probably talking 997-ish.
Oh, okay.
That's what I imagine.
Hebe.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
That's very peak.
Yeah. Not 991.
No. I think they're talking 997-ish.
Okay.
Which rang a bell with me. Okay. Should we get started with this silly game?
Oh, blimey. Yes. Here we go.
Car 1 is an MG ZT.
Wrong engine. Next, move on.
Well, hang on. Let me just describe this. This is a 2004 car, manual, a petrol. This is a facelifted one, isn't it? Because it's got those lights.
Oh, we can do these in price orders. Is this the cheapest car?
Yeah, it's in price order.
Okay.
This one's done 57,000 miles. It's grey. It's not the red one in the background. If you're watching on YouTube, you're maybe just about to be able to see the red one in the background. We'll talk about the grey one. 57,000 miles up for 1975. And you say it's the wrong engine, but it is a 2.5 litre V6 with 190 horsepower.
Yes. There's a wrong wheel drive.
Okay. Yeah, but you're not going to get a V8 one for $2,000.
No, you're not. Okay. So actually, for those who have not watching this on YouTube, this is an MG ZT 2.5 V6, and it was actually not a bad car at all, and for less than £2,000, it sounds like a nice thing to knock about it and not have to worry too much if you get a big bill, because if it's too big, you just throw the car away. What I would say is that if I was going for an MG of that era, the ZR and the ZS were probably well, they were definitely more fun to drive. The ZR in particular, which was the sort of like the Rover 200 based car, they were actually really cracking little things to go smoking about the place in, and I think quite underrated. All the press cars seem to be bright yellow for some reason, and I have much fonder memories of those. They also made good little racing cars. I used to race against them in a Clio, and they were quick.
Yeah. The ZS, so the mid-sized one. My uncle had a couple with this engine, the 2.5 litre V6.
Yeah, so that's the sort of the 400 series Rover, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, and I always really liked that engine. And I suppose that's why this one.
I think what would be quite nice with this one is if it were a ZTT. If it were a wagon,
that'd be cool.
That would actually be very nice, because those I was about to call it a Rover, which it is obviously, but they were well engineered because it was done by Longbridge and BMW together. They were high quality cars. They were quite they were properly built. I don't know what the spares situation would be now, but I imagine it's pretty good. Our contributor Richard Bremner has one and likes it very much. He's got a Rover 75, but it's essentially this, which I've driven, and they're quiet and they're comfortable, and they're nice things. And 1975, they'd probably take 1,800 cash, wouldn't they? You can't go too far wrong with it. I imagine, would tax be quite expensive on that? It probably would be, wouldn't it?
Don't know. It might well be. Yeah, it's had a few owners. This one, 5 owners. But I think, the photographs speak for themselves, says the vendor, and I include the cigarette burn on the driver's seat for completeness.
Oh, it would mean somebody's been smoking in it. Ugh.
It does sound like it, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But it's I think that's quite an interesting car for less than $2,000
I do agree.
with a cool engine.
I do agree.
Okay. All right, let's mix it up a little bit then. What have we got? Ooh, Range Rover L322. This is a Vogue, a 4.4 litre V8. So this is a third generation Range Rover, isn't it? Quite an early one.
What year is it?
It's a 2004.
2004. Okay, so it's quite early. It's not super early. 322s are. It's the car that essentially got Range Rover the reputation that it enjoys to this day. It stopped. It turned Range Rover from being a sort of a posh SUV into a proper luxury brand, where it could compete and can and does compete head on with companies like Bentley. And this is the car that started it. This is the car that was designed under BMW's ownership, but actually largely delivered under Ford's. And they're great. They have amazing interiors. Obviously, with old cars like this, you've got to wonder about reliability, and you'd have to budget accordingly. But that's just not much money at all, is it?
No. So this one's up for £2,288.
It almost makes me wonder why.
It does.
Is there something we don't know about it?
No. So what I've tried to do with all of these is I might have found quite cheap examples, but I've looked for evidence that they are usable cars in good working order.
Yeah.
So this one's an LPG. It's done 135,000 miles. 2 owners. I just, it's not the season for it perhaps, but come October, November, a couple of grand into an L322 is going to be great for a winter, isn't it?
So my brother has an L322.
Right.
Which he bought when it had done 100,000 miles, but it's got the big V8 diesel in it. And if you're going to get an L322, that's what you want. That 4.4 litre V8 diesel, much more reliable than the earlier V8 diesel. And just it gives you the range. It makes your fuel costs almost affordable. You get that massive wall of torque. They're really good. So if I was going to go for an L322, I wouldn't buy that one because to me it doesn't have the right engine in it.
Okay.
But they are fine things.
Gavin Green has recently written a story for us all about the L322
because he launched it.
Yeah. He was comms director.
He was the head of comms for Land Rover when they did the biggest launch of the company's history.
Yeah. And he explains how the car came to be, what the alternative options were. Do you remember we spoke about this last week?
Yeah.
How do you build a posh SUV, do you platform share or build your own thing?
Yeah, so there was an idea that it was just going to be an X5 with a top hat on, wasn't it?
Yeah. And the Land Rover lot just said you can't do that.
No. But the Land Rover lots was that you just do a facelift of the P38, which was the previous car, which was far and away the poorest Range Rover, and the BMW lot similarly said, well, you're not doing that. And so literally the Land Rover wouldn't do what BMW wanted, and BMW wouldn't do what Land Rover wanted, and so the only alternative was to do a brand new car, and it changed everything for them.
Yeah, and it's turned JLR today, as it is today, into a company that generates billions in profit a year.
Yeah, and it's all been done. I mean, obviously, it's there've been many other factors, creating the Range Rover Sport, which had, and then the Evoque came along, but it all started here. That was the car that turned the corner for Range Rover.
And Gavin explains what BMW's input on the car was. I mean, it was designed.
It was designed under BMW's ownership, but delivered under.
With a bunch of, big design team camped over in Munich from the West Midlands.
Absolutely. And they did it together.
Yeah.
And I think actually, and Gavin was there during this process, so he does know. I think it was I think it was probably a bit scratchy to begin with, but because I think the Brits didn't think the BMW lot would understand British heritage, and I think the BMW lot thought the Brits didn't know how to build a car. But actually, once they actually started working together, I think there was genuinely an atmosphere of mutual respect. And also, you don't get a car that was as complete and as good as that, and also so clearly an appropriate Range Rover product, unless you do have those sorts of relationships working really well.
So it was quite a complicated gestation, wasn't it? So Ford took over Land Rover during the car's development. BMW finished the engineering of the car, but Ford launched it.
Yes, exactly. As part of the Premier Automotive Group, which also owned, Aston Martin and Volvo and Lincoln and all sorts of things. Yeah. Before all that went wrong too.
$2,000.
$2,000.
Not a lot of money, is it?
Okay.
What have we got? Ooh. See, right. Now, these are catching my eye at the moment. Not that I'm about to buy one. This is the BMW Z4. So this is, the first of the Z4s with that crisp angle flame surfacing styling, which now looks really quite striking, I think.
It does. Particularly
in the right light. It looks like a sort of show car. This is a 2003 car with the 3-litre straight six. It's up for £4,250. It's done 86,500 miles. It's had 5 owners. It's a sort of silvery grey, gunmetal-y colour, isn't it? With the soft top roof, red leather seats. Apparently in good condition overall. Is that sort of starting to appeal to you, or do you just look at it and think, well, it's not a Boxster?
I think that's almost exactly what I think. Which is, I was about to say damning faint praise, but there's no praise there at all. I mean, I never really liked the way they drove.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I just thought that they were soft. They did slightly peculiar things when you drove them fast. They never strike me as being drivers' cars. If you get a coupe version of it, I think at least they look really cool.
Yeah.
But no, I'm afraid you've literally put your finger on it. I'd just rather be in a box. To be honest with you, I think I'd probably rather be in an MX-5. I mean, certainly if I
as a driver's car, yeah, you're right.
If I could spend $4,000 on a Z4 or an MX-5, you think how lovely it is. You get a really nice MX-5 for $4,000.
Yeah,
and I just have more fun in it. And and if you're going to get a car like that's 20-something years old and it's a 2-seater and it's convertible, the only point of having it is to go out and enjoy it. I just enjoy an MX-5 more. So, but I do have a bit of a soft spot for the coupes because I think they do look really cool. But
I bet the engine is lovely.
It will be.
Was it 260 horsepower?
Something like that. Lovely 3-litre creamy straight six.
Yeah.
But I think what it will also do is serve to highlight the deficiencies in the rest of the car. It's just not a real driver's car, I'm afraid.
Okay. Next one. Now I chose this specifically because The lead image on this advert for this Ford Focus
Is it
ST,
being tracked around the Nürburgring?
It is, and I just thought that was quite a bold call.
Yeah, go buy this car. I haven't, never been thrashed to death around the track, let alone that one.
And I also just liked that there's an Alpine A110 in the background of this photo
there you go.
coming down the hill.
God, I have to have a reason to get one of those in.
Yes. So this is one of the 5-cylinder cars, 5-cylinder turbo cars, 2.5 litre. This is an ST3, so quite a high spec one. It's a 2005 example manual in a sort of, well, it's that blue colour, isn't it?
Are they 2.5 litres?
Yeah.
I thought they were 2.3s. But I might be wrong. I might be when you
said... No, they're 2.5.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure they're 2.5. Excuse me
Doesn't
if I'm
matter.
wrong.
No, I don't think you're wrong. The ad might be wrong, but
so this one's on 125,000 miles, and it's up for £5,100. And one thing that, apart from the choice of lead image for the advert, I also quite admired this guy's honesty. He says he's done a lot of upgrades, a lot of tuning work to this car. He says, I've spent close to 15k on the car and have all the receipts to prove it, including a 5k engine rebuild. And he's asking £5,100.
I'm going to sound like a real eel here. I wouldn't buy it.
I know. You just worry, don't you, about cars that have been...
cars that have clearly spent, quite a long time on tracks, and cars that have had, lots and lots of mods. And it's not the mods per se. It's the reason behind the mods and what he's wanted to do with the car and the way that he's wanted to treat the car. Because actually, I think if we were looking at a lovely low-mile standard ST3, I'd be quite excited because I really quite like those. It was a Volvo engine, wasn't it?
Yeah.
5 cylinders, transversely mounted in the front.
Yeah.
Lovely noise, quite a bit nose heavy, but a really good and thoroughly deserved member of the fast Ford club. And yeah, I remember them really, really well. I think we had a long term at Autocar, and I've just really fond memories because they make that noise, which is thank you very much. And they're handled well. ST3 means there'll be a lot of equipment in them. Great handled, great drivers' cars. And they kind of hide in the shadow of the RSs these days, which I think is a bit unfair because they're much more usable and accessible than they are. I just wouldn't get one that would be, and maybe this is just me. I guess if you were going to look at one and you wanted to do track days and you think to yourself, well, it's got all these goodies on it and it's had an engine rebuild, that's probably a good thing to go and do. So if you want to do that, that's fine, but that would be the last reason I'd want a car like that. I just want a car like that to steam about the place in.
Yeah.
And that particular example isn't the right car for doing that.
I think you'd have to be very,
and I think £5,000 is quite strong.
I think you'd have to be very familiar with these fast Fords and with some of the tuning upgrades that the chap has done, because you would just want to know that it's good quality stuff.
Yeah.
You can replace it if something breaks. It's not being bodged.
Yeah.
Because it would just be such a shame if you bought this thing and it turned out that all the upgrades were really quite poor.
It would be interesting to get the opinion of we have a contributor on the TR website and that called Lewis Kingston, who knows all about this stuff. He knows all about upgrades and models, and he might turn around and go, whoa, hang on guys, do you not realise what you got there?
Yeah, he'd look at that list of stuff.
Yeah, and you think, he said you could take that stuff off and sell it for and get most of your money back all by itself. So he might think it's a really good shot. I think so what we're saying probably says a bit about a certain lack of knowledge on our part of just what these bits are and how much they mean and the differences that they make. But I'm just inherently a bit nervous about cars that have been highly modded and clearly been highly modded so that they
for a reason.
That reason being to drive fast around racetracks. So I wouldn't buy that car, but the fundamental car behind it, going back to your point about talking more generally about the model, is a really good car.
Yeah, I've driven them and. I liked them. I think I just preferred the Renault Sports of the time and the Mark V VW Golf GTI of the time.
Absolutely fair comment. The Renault Sports were a bit more recreational. They were certainly more fun to drive, but not as nice to live with. But yeah, I mean, the Mark V Golf is one of the great Golf GTIs. What would I rather have? I think I'd think really hard about getting the Focus and then get the Golf.
I'd love one of those Golfs.
Yeah.
I really enjoy them.
Yeah, me too.
All right, let's move it on then. So another.
You're just trying to get me into trouble, aren't you? Because we know someone who is not unconnected with the Intercooler project who has one of these.
There's another opportunity for you to get yourself in trouble later on as well. You'll be pleased to hear.
Excellent.
So this is a Honda S2000. It's a 2003 car. It's done 97,500 miles. And it's up for $8,500, a little bit less than $8,500. Now, it seems that there's a real spread of values when we're talking about S2000s. Good ones can be more than double the price, much more than double the price of this one. I think you could probably spend $20,000 on an S2000.
Do you think they're becoming a bit, I have to say this word carefully, culty?
What do you think? There's a sort of movement around them and cherished ones.
I don't know, but I mean, if there are,
I think they probably are.
Because the first thing to say about them is they are great opinion splitters, aren't they?
Yeah.
There's a great divide between those who just think they are brilliant, particularly because of that extraordinary engine that they have, and those who, probably like me, just find the drawbacks in things like the steering and the driving position and some of the things that they used to do when you really started to hustle them, did just compromise the car sufficiently for, yet again, it just not to make sufficient sense as an alternative to a Boxster. Maybe we'll be having this conversation quite a lot over the next, half an hour or so. Good, but not as good as the equivalent Porsche. I don't know. I mean, they are. But then again, when we drove those cars, we being the sort of the road test at the time, I think the consensus was, it's an amazing engine fitted into a fairly flawed car. But then, we were driving them in a certain way and, dispensing advice on the basis of, should people buy this as a new car, not as a classic, not as a, a pure recreation, maybe to have as part of a multi-car collection. So I think the terms of reference are quite different. I often think to myself, one of the ways of looking at this, somebody said to you, here's one of these. Do you want to have a go? Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I put up with, and also, the other things, I mean, the thing that probably annoyed me most about it was the driving position, that very much sort of sat on, perched feel you get.
You sit too high, didn't you?
But I'm 6'4".
Yeah.
And if you were, 5'8", you would feel that much less. And you're probably not going to be skidding it about in quite the same way that we were doing 20 years ago. And that engine is still 239 horsepower from a 2-litre at 8 and a bit thousand revs.
Close to 9, yeah.
Close to 9. And when that...
And a great gear shift.
Yeah, a great gear shift. And when that VTEC changed the cam profiles and it really kicked in at the top end, I mean, wow. Wow.
What was the handling? Because they had a reputation for being quite spiky.
Yeah, they were. Yeah, I mean that was certainly my. You would suddenly get large amounts of, I wouldn't say uncontrollable oversteer, but you could suddenly find yourself busier than you'd want to be, which is not ever optimal in something designed to go on the public road. I mean, I wouldn't say they were sort of dangerous or anything else, but you needed to be a bit careful with them in a way that you wouldn't have needed to be in a Porsche.
It's just a sort of nicely Honda way of doing things, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
With the VTEC engine spinning to the heavens, a great gear shift.
I really like the idea of them, but the reality never quite lived up to it for me. But for others, others feel differently about it.
Yeah. All right, let's look at the next one. Of course, there had to be one of these. That's a very dark blue, isn't it? A Bentley Continental GT.
Yes.
So this is a 2004 car, so a pretty early one.
It's a very early car.
Yeah, 6-litre W12 engine, 53,000 miles.
Yeah.
This one's up for £11,200. No, I chose this one. I added this one to this little game because you had a go in one fairly recently.
Yeah, so you
drove them all.
I drove all 4 generations.
Yeah.
Of them. 2 generations. With 2 cars in each generation, one being a facelift version of the other. So this is the first of the first. I mean, so they delivered in 2004. I think they may have delivered a handful of cars in 2003, but 2004 was absolutely the first year proper production. And they feel quite old now. And the astonishing thing about these cars is just how quickly and quietly they were developed. And if you go and drive a 2008 car, which would have had all the modifications that came when our friend Dr. Uli Eichhorn came on as the head of engineering. They are very, very different cars, and much more so, I think, than people generally think, because they still look pretty much the same, but they didn't drive the same. So for instance, as an example, when they did the GTC, the convertible, which was never originally part of the product plan, as you always do with these things, you have to introduce a whole lot of strengthening materials to shore up the chassis and to replace some of the rigidity that you lose when you chop the roof off. But then they just left them there. So the later coupes were massively more torsionally rigid than this car will be. And those cars, you only have to go sort of like 3 or 4 years out to get a very different driving experience. So I'd love the idea of an early Continental, but I think if you go this early, it's a nice old thing. It'll be quite well built, and and also to be able to if it's being advertised for 11.2, I don't know what kind of deal they would take, but you could have the opportunity to go around the place in a great looking 550 horsepower, 200 mile an hour Bentley for an initial outlay of not much more than 10 grand.
Yeah,
that's tempting. But I think if you drove that and you drove one, the same car but built 4 years later, I think you would be amazed at how different two visually similar cars can actually be to drive.
Do you know much about the reality of running one of these cars?
They're pretty good.
Yeah,
they are pretty good. I mean, it's a 20-year-old Bentley, so it's not going to be Ford Fiesta running cost. But you never hear horror stories about them. You never hear, oh God, the bottom falls out of the engine, or the gearbox explodes, or the back axle. You never hear those stories. You don't hear stories about terrible corrosion. I mean, okay, so one story I can tell you. I'll be quick because I think I mentioned this on some previous podcast. But we were doing a triple test somewhere, and we had a Gallardo Lamborghini, and we had an Aston DB9, and we had a Continental GT. And the Gallardo and the Aston turned up, and the Continental GT didn't. And so I rang up the garage that was supplying it and said, where's the car? And they went, oh, terribly sorry, just sold it. And I just thought to myself, well, that's the end of this story, unless we can get another one. So I said, you need to send another car down, because this car was meant to be here and you've let us down. And they said, well, we haven't got one. I said, well, you literally don't have one at all. He said, no, we literally don't have one at all, apart from one that's just been dropped off around the back. It's absolutely filthy. All the wheels have been curbed. We haven't even looked at it. It's done a bazillion miles and it's a complete dog. And I said, send that.
Yeah.
And the car came down and it felt so much better built
than
the Lamborghini
or
the Aston. It just felt, wow. I mean, this car, which had been totally used and abused all its life, still felt better built than those two rivals of 20 years ago or so. So I think that they were really properly put together. But even so, these cars are 20 years old, and bits wear out.
Yeah,
that's just wear and tear. Wheel bearings and who knows what else, and electric window motors and all sorts of things. So don't just think that because it was put together properly 20 years ago that it'll still drive like a new car now and cost the same to maintain. It won't. But you don't hear horror stories.
But there's also a good supply of bits.
Yep,
isn't there?
Absolutely. Oh, through Flying Spares. Yes.
Great name, by the way.
Flying Spares, yeah. This is a company which I went to see, which I've also talked about on this podcast before.
Yeah.
And they will supply you everything from a completely reconditioned engine to, an electric window motor. You just go on their website and dial it up, and, they have a great reputation. And I've been to see, they're now in some massive facility, having been, in a fairly sort of ramshackle place before. So you're not going to have to worry about, if you ding a wheel or crack a bump, or you're not going to wonder, where you're going to get that bit from, because there are loads of them. Because these are cars which Bentley made at great volume.
Yeah,
thousands and thousands of them, and they're durable and they're out there, and so the part supply is terrific, and not that expensive.
All right, let's have another one. There had to be one, didn't there?
But of course,
this is a Porsche 911. It's a 996 Carrera, so a facelift one from 2003. It's a manual coupe with 89,000 miles.
Yes.
It's up for £17,500.
Get to the important bit.
What's the important bit?
The engine.
Well, talk amongst yourself.
Has it been done? What do we know about?
The advert does not specifically say that the engine.
That means it hasn't.
Yeah.
So I think it's a brave choice. I like the idea of a 996, particularly the second generation car, which was a big improvement on the original. But as we know, it wasn't until the second generation of the 997 that the engine issues that came with these cars went away. And so I would want a proper health check. I mean, some people buy these cars and pay a lot less for them because the engines haven't been done. And, and they go into it completely clear-eyed. And, they do their due diligence and they, find out if there's been any bore score or anything else like that. And they do all the checks that you can do. And then they just take a view and they think, well, if it goes, it goes. And if it doesn't, whoopee. But I paid a lot less for the car in the meantime. It says so much more about me. I don't like being nervous about cars. I don't like getting into a car and thinking, is it going to let me down?
What's that sound?
What's that sound? What's that light? Is this thing going to be a money pit? I'm just not that. I mean, so many people are just so much more relaxed about these sorts of things than me.
Yeah.
But I'm just not that way. So I wouldn't buy that car. Which may say more about me than the car. I think there are others will, and it's it's a great deal of really pretty good Porsche for not a very large amount of money. It looks good, doesn't it? And it's also it's the right car. It's rear drive. It's manual. It's a coupe. All those boxes are ticked. I mean, you might take a view that if the car turned out to be in really good condition, how many miles has it done?
89,000.
89,000, which isn't much for one of those.
No.
Maybe you just do the engine.
Yeah. Yeah, run it until the engine goes.
Run it until the engine goes, then do the engine, and just have a really, really good car. I mean, I really like the idea of it.
So I've only driven a few 996s, certainly Carreras, and the thing that I would most want to guard against is making sure that the car I bought had a good chassis. By that I mean the dampers were in good order, the bushes were in good order. I mean, of course, you can pay to have all that stuff replaced, but I've driven a couple that just felt loose and baggy. And the moment my 996 or any 911 felt baggy, I'll just stop enjoying it. I need it to feel tight as a drum.
So you need to factor that into it, but at least it's something which can be dealt with reasonably.
Yeah, it's not going to break the bank, is it?
And so you can get back. It's not like your engine going bang.
No.
And the other thing would be because people when they talk about 996s, the conversation is usually, the quality took a dive over the 993 and they've got these issues, and that's why they are the poor relation of the 911 family. People forget that they are the lightest 911s of the modern generation. I mean, far lighter than a 993 that came before.
Yeah.
And everything since then has put on weight. And they do have a nimbleness about them, which I found really, really lovely. And those engines, when they're working properly, people are sniffy about them because they're water-cooled, whereas their predecessors were air-cooled. They're really good. And I bet you, if you went and drove that car today, you think, blimey, this is fast.
Yeah.
I reckon you think it was really quick.
It'd be enough, wouldn't it?
It would be enough.
I do like the sound of that. They have their issues, they have a reputation, but I feel quite drawn to that. I mean, that is a great angle, isn't it, for an Aston Martin DB9?
It is.
That sort of slightly raised front three quarters. That car just looks stunning.
What year is it?
It's a 2005.
So another early car.
Yeah, an auto. It's done 38,000 miles. And it's a coupe, and they're asking just under 32 grand for it.
It's a beautiful V12 Aston Martin coupe for the price of what do you pay 30 grand for these days?
An electric Corsa?
An electric Corsa. Tempting, isn't it?
It looks great in that silver. That is a superb looking car.
It is.
I think it's getting prettier.
Yeah. I drove one of these recently. And it was pretty good. Yeah, they're nice. They are nice things. I mean, the manuals are incredibly rare, aren't they?
Yeah.
And the automatic. I mean, they've got paddles, haven't they?
I think so. Yeah, they must do.
But you have to be quite careful with them. Take a bit of time over it. So, V12 Aston Martin, great noise. Again, you don't really hear terrible stories about them, or maybe I just haven't heard them. I mean, as an alternative to, what would it be? A 612? Scaglietti? I'd so much rather have this.
Would you?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I don't think it would be an early morning hoon across the mountain kind of car.
No.
But
so that's a good question. So you buy this car. What do you do with it?
I think it's sort of swanning around, isn't it?
But it's not. It's not really. Also, it's not really a in perhaps the same way as the Continental GT might be, a sort of off across Europe car.
Not quite, I don't think.
Not quite.
Well, yeah, I'm sure you could, but
I think it's a sort of high days and holidays.
Yeah.
Going to go and see friends in the north or wherever. Just a lovely way to do a sort of medium length journey. Don't get a Volante.
No. It'll wobble about.
It'll wobble about, and it really does spoil the car a lot. But for £30,000, or a little bit more than £30,000, and how many miles?
38,000.
See, actually, now that's a really good mileage.
In 20 years. Yeah, it's been used.
Exactly. It's not, well, okay, so you need to find out if it did 38,000 miles in its first 2 years and had been parked ever since.
You want to know the distribution of those miles.
Exactly. So you need to look at the MOT certificates and everything else that will go with it. But if it's just done, a couple of thousand miles a year, and do we know how many owners it's had?
It's had 3 owners.
That's not many.
It's not many in 20 years, is it?
No, it's not. I mean, that could actually be a really quite tempting car. I mean, not for me, because it's just not quite. To me, it's a little bit betwixt and between, because if I wanted a long distance tourer, I'd get something more Bentley-ish, and if I wanted something more exciting, I'd get something more exciting. But if you just wanted, I'm going to be massively patronising now, but it's a kind of retirement special, isn't it?
It is, I think, yeah.
You come to the end of the kids are grown and gone. Your financial outgoings are much reduced. You've worked hard all your life, and you've always fancied owning an Aston Martin. Game on.
Yeah, fantastic. Brilliant. And you'd really enjoy it.
Yeah.
Okay, let's keep it moving. There you go. This is where you can talk yourself in trouble with our friend. This is a bright yellow. Actually, a fantastic. Do you think is that a Giallo Fly? Is that what they call it?
I thought Giallo Fly was a Ferrari colour.
Was it?
I don't know. Maybe it isn't. It looks like it, but it's just sat on a screen. It's quite difficult to see.
Oh, Giallo Midas.
Oh, okay.
So it's a pearl yellow. This is a Lamborghini Gardo. This is a 2004 car. It's a manual.
Yeah. Oh, that's good.
46,000 miles.
Yeah.
It's up for a whisker under £70,000.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a fair amount of money, isn't it, really? I think they look really cool. I always liked the look of the Gardo. That sort of chiseled.
I much prefer the Hurricane appearance.
No.
You think it looks better looking than a Hurricane?
Yes.
No. Yeah, absolutely not. Seriously?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I really like the chiseled, sort of squared off.
To the death, you're right to be wrong about this.
Fine. I think it's a great looking car. V10, 4-wheel drive.
It's all the money though, isn't it?
Yeah, 70 grand. I don't really know what that means in Gallardo world. I'm sure you can get one for less. But I don't know. I mean, that's what kind of Cayman are you getting for 70 grand? A nice S with a few bits.
Well, maybe a bit more than that. Okay, and this is a completely different level of performance.
Yeah.
Was it 550 horsepower or something?
Something like that.
Yeah. I don't know what it is about Gallardos. They are really good cars, particularly the manuals. They sound fantastic. The gear shift is really good. I've just never really. I've just never really.
It's
craved
not doing anything for you, this one, is it?
I just haven't really. I've just never really craved them, and I don't really know why. They were made in very large quantities. Well, that doesn't necessarily matter very much. But if I had £70,000 to spend on a car like that, I don't think I'd buy that car. And it's strange because I don't think that there's anything particularly wrong with them. I think the interiors look pretty old now, and there's lots of Audi bits lurking about, which might serve to annoy you. But I don't know if there's an image thing with it. I'm not really sure, but it's just maybe I need to go and drive one. I don't know if you know anyone who's got one. Mind you, probably wouldn't let me drive it after this.
Let's hope he's listening.
But it would be a really interesting exercise, because the truth is I really haven't driven one. I mean, probably since that one that I drove on that triple test all those years ago. So maybe I would drive one now, and I think, actually, do you know what? This is really, really enticing. But I've never, if I saw a Gardo parked on the street, I'd never sort of cross the road to go and have a look at it.
Really?
No, I really wouldn't.
Gosh, interesting. I would.
To me, they're just not as special as some other Lamborghinis.
To be honest, though, for less than half that, you could get probably quite a nice R8.
Yeah, well.
That would be the thing to do, wouldn't it?
Well, except the person we're talking about had one of those and he sold it.
Yeah. So what do we know? Okay, right, I think we're on to the last one.
Okay.
Whoa.
Oh, wow. That's
So,
okay, to people just listening to this may be wondering why all these noises are coming out of us now.
This is a Nissan Skyline GTR.
Money!
An R33. It's a 1997. I don't know how this one snuck in. It's not an early 2000s car at all. It's a 97 car, but we'll go with it. It's done just under 40,000 miles, and they're asking £116,000 for it.
I mean, what can I say?
So you said that the S2000 has gone a bit culty. I mean, these are fully culty now, aren't they?
Yeah, absolutely, massively, and hence the price.
Yeah,
hence the price. I mean, I find that price absolutely staggering. If you'd said to me before we came on, what would you pay? What do you think you paid for a 97 Skyline? Yeah. I'd have gone, I don't know, probably half that.
Yeah, 50 grand or something.
Yeah. And I'm not sure that it would even be worth that to me. But these cars, as you say, they have become, they have become massively popular in a very small sector of society. And I presume this is a really, really good one, isn't it?
Well, I guess so. So there's a real spread when it comes to Skyline GTR values. And I suspect what's happening is that the original ones, the untouched ones, are becoming very sought after, and they're extremely expensive.
Yeah. What do we know about this one?
Well, let's have a look. So, I mean, by the look of that, it's had quite a lot of work. It's had a 2.9 litre forged billet crankshaft. So it's got a new block. Forged pistons.
So this isn't block. It's got a different engine in it.
So this is not a standard car. It's got new turbos, full exhaust system. So this is a very, very heavily uprated one.
So this is, I think this is the sort of car that you could have a lot of enjoyment with if you're a particular person, because what you would do is the car itself is almost a means to an end, because what it is an introduction into a world, isn't it? Because you could turn up anywhere where Skyline people congregate in that, and it's just instant credibility, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's proper person passing. And it's access to that world, which I suspect is probably what lies behind at least part of that price. And I think that, as someone who, has been involved in, various sort of slightly cliquey worlds, I mean, particularly in my case, the sort of historic racing world, turning up somewhere with something that really fits in, it does break down barriers. It does give you sort of respect, and people will take an interest in a way that if you just turned up in anything, that it wouldn't. So I think that's what this is about. And I think actually, although I would never, ever, ever, because I just think to myself, would I enjoy driving it 115,950 quid's worth enough? And I just wouldn't. But actually, I think that's only actually a small part of this particular puzzle. And I think it's more about what it lets you do, what access it gives you. That is the core part of this appeal. And I think that if you are really into, slightly strange, niche Japanese performance machinery, I think it's absolutely great.
Yeah.
And just because it's not my world,
No.
doesn't mean I would ever seek to sort of denigrate those for whom it is. And I mean, it looks lovely, doesn't it?
It does look cool.
Yeah.
What would a standard, really good condition R33 GTR be like to drive now, do you think?
I always found them, very exciting, exhilarating, quite brutal. I always just used to find them in the same way that, I've frankly found all the GTRs that I've driven. I just found them, they kind of bludgeon their way.
Sort of sledgehammer cars.
Exactly. They're not precision instruments.
No.
They're not like, they're kind of like the opposite of a Lotus Elise. Both really good for entirely different reasons and getting you from one place to another. And I've just always preferred that, the delicacy and the feel. But that's just me. And I know that an awful lot of people, they love the engineering and the technology and everything else that goes into those cars and the way that they look. And, and if you're one of them, good on you.
Yeah, fine. All right, well, that's the last one. So that was good. That was fun. I think what do we need to do next time? Choose a totally different era and dig out 10 completely random cars and
quite
natter about
10 completely random mid-1960s Alfa Romeos would do quite nicely.
Do you want to do that next time?
Well, yes, I do, but I don't think anyone listening to this would want me to, so maybe not.
Okay.
But if anybody has any ideas, we'll love to hear them.
We've done this a few times, and I think because I've done them, I've sort of focused around a fairly narrow era. So maybe we do need to look all the way back to the 70s, perhaps the 60s as well, and mix it up a little bit.
Or maybe instead of defining by era, we define by type.
Yeah, we can do that.
And so we'll just have, I don't know, mid-engine cars or hot hatchbacks or whatever, and then we'll just go all the way through.
Okay, good call. Well, listen, there's just enough time to remind you all that as a podcast listener, you can subscribe to the Intercooler app and website and get a 20% discount on year one by using coupon code POD20 at checkout. There will be a link in the show notes in the description, or you can just head to the-intercooler.com and find the subscribe page. And we've also partnered with Supernatural Car Care, and if you are a subscriber, whether new or old, we're going to be giving away a Supernatural Car Care kit every single month for the next year. And actually, you can also just use our special discount on Supernatural Car Care products. Use TI10 at checkout. Their website is supernaturalcarcare.com. You get a 10% discount on us. We'll leave that one there. Thanks ever so much for listening, and we'll be back again next week.
See you then.